Hello and welcome to episode 9, which will hopefully look a little bit different because I've been doing some homework. However, if it doesn't look a little bit different, me doing this is going to look extremely odd. So please forgive me. There hasn't been a great deal of knitting going on this last week because we have had a bank holiday here and I've been out. Last week I wasn't feeling great. I was having a bit of a flare up of my condition, so I didn't knit a great deal. But then the weekend came along and I had rested, not just because I wasn't feeling great, but also because I had plans for the weekend. Sunday we went to, I suppose you could call them our best friends, barbecue. And that was absolutely fantastic. It's the first time I've been in someone else's house for nearly 2 years. And I know that's the same for a lot of us because we've all been in lockdown for what feels like forever. But because I fell ill in November 2019, I actually went into lockdown 6 months before everybody else because I wasn't well enough to go anywhere. So it was amazing to go out. And I thought it would feel really weird, but it didn't, because I think they are such good friends. It was no different to the time. Just didn't seem to have been a gap in time in between seeing them. I mean, we've spoken and what have you, and when they're allowed to pop round and be in the garden, they've done so. But yeah, that was the first time we were able to go around to theirs, so it was great. Then on Monday, because bank holiday, my son and daughter-in-law cooked us a roast. So again, we were out, we were in someone else's house, first time again, and it was really great. The last week or so I've been able to give them hugs, and I've missed hugging them so much. My eldest son is the huggiest of my children, and it's been wonderful to give him hugs. And even his fiance, who is not a huggy person, Lauren, has given me hugs. And my youngest, I keep trying to hug him. He's very tall and very bony. It's not a comfortable experience for either of us. But as I keep pointing out to him, if he gets into the army, I've got to get all my hugs in now, because I may not see him for weeks, months on end. So he's just got to suffer the hugs. It's the price you have to pay for wanting to leave home. Sorry, Ewan. And then yesterday, which was Tuesday, another old friend came round. Well, she's not an old friend actually. She feels like it, but when I think about it, I haven't known her that long. She's a friend from the ladies motorbike group that I belong to, and she popped round. And again, I haven't seen her for over 2 years. So that was fantastic. Even though we've been Zooming and what have you, it's not the same. So I've seen more people and been more places in the last 3 days than I have in the last 2 years. So I'm a little bit tired. You'd be surprised how tiring it is socialising with people. Well, I don't know, perhaps you wouldn't be, because we're all in the same boat really, aren't we? After you've been kind of isolated. Not completely, because, you know, my husband and my youngest son still live at home. But that's not the same, is it? That's not catching up talking. That's just, what do you want for dinner? And why can't you put your socks in the laundry basket talking? So yeah. So between going out, because apparently you can't really take your knitting with you when you go to places, because people think you're being rude if you sit and knit. And they don't seem to realise I can knit like I breathe. It doesn't require a great deal of concentration unless I'm doing something complicated like lacy bits or whatever. But I wouldn't take those with me. So let's just say here and now, if you want to come to visit me and you want to bring your knitting, you go ahead. I don't think it's rude. I think it's marvellous. We'll just sit and knit and chat together. But yeah, so I was out a lot, so knitting didn't get done. And then as a consequence of having been out, I was very tired. So there was a lot of sleeping and not knitting. I'm a bit concerned that you might be able to hear noises from outside because next door are about to have a load of bricks delivered via our garden. So if there is too much noise, I'll pause and restart later. But I'm hoping it will be okay because I've waited quite late in the day to do this as it is, because we've got thunderstorms today and it keeps going really dark and then the rain just buckets down, which is quite nice. It's been very hot and dry, but not conducive to good filming. So yeah, we'll have to see how it goes. We may get a little bit interrupted. I hope not, but we'll see. So that's kind of the life update. Excuse me if I'm looking behind you. My eldest son, my huggy eldest son, has decided that he is now my podcast manager and has told me that because I am too vague and forgetful, I must now write bullet points and put them behind the camera. So now I'm going to have to keep going to see what I'm meant to be doing next, which I'm sure is just as annoying as me being vague and forgetful. But one must do as one's told. He kind of watches this, but he actually listens to it rather than watches it, because he's it's the brick man, sorry. See, vague and forgetful, got distracted. He listens while he's working. So when we get to looking at his socks that I'm making for him, we'll have to have a pause to give him a chance to come to the screen. Anyway, enough of that foolishness. I have a finished object. Hurrah, you're all thinking. Finally. Ty next door, the dog next door, who is quite famous in my podcast, is now objecting to the man delivering the bricks. And as he is an enormous dog, he has quite a loud bark. This is very difficult today. Anyway, so I have finished my one and done shawl by Casapinka, and it is quite enormous. There will be pictures later on Instagram if it's dry enough for me to get outside and photograph. Pictures of it on Instagram and Ravelry and the Facebook group. Holy moly, I haven't had a drink, I swear. Facebook group for the podcast, so you can have a proper look because it's a bit hard to see. But I'm very, very pleased with it. As with most lacy things, it didn't look great until it was blocked, but now it's blocked. Let me tip you down a little bit. Now it's blocked, it looks really good. I'm very, very pleased with it. And this is knit. Sorry, I have to adjust you now. I'll get told off for that as well by my manager. This is knit in Peony by Ducky Darlings, which I think is possibly my favourite ever yarn colourway. And it is, I think, where are we? 75/25 superwash merino. It's absolutely stunning. And I've got about 20 grams left, which is a little bit too much to put straight into my memory blanket. I aim for about 5 to 10 grams so that the blocks aren't too big. So I don't know whether to split it into 2 balls to go into the memory blanket and then, you know, put one in now and one in a few months, or whether to do heels and toes or toes and cuffs or something on some socks with it. Yet to be decided. But yeah, so this used 80 grams, which is quite impressive because the pattern tells you it will have an 86-inch edging, and it does. It's a bit wobbly. It is quite monormous, as my son used to say when he was little. And a gorgeous colour, which you probably can't see really. But as I say, photos will be elsewhere in better light, so you can have a look at that. I'm not sure that I'm going to cast on another shawl straight away, because next month Whatnot are doing, or is doing, a knit along for the shawl that she designed, the Friends Are Like Flowers shawl that I showed you a couple of episodes ago, and I want to do that, so I might not. Come on, Pops. Sorry, we're about to get joined by a cat. Come on. Oh, there she goes. Hang on a second. Puppy. Puppy. Poppy is also disturbed by the men with the bricks. I've completely lost my train of thought again. Sorry, Peter, I have got bullet points, but there's cats and there's men with bricks. I don't know what to tell you. Yes, shawls. I don't want to get involved in another shawl because I want to do the knit along for the Friends Are Like Flowers shawls with Whatnot. So I might do something different this month instead of a shawl. It'll probably be more socks, let's face it. Speaking of socks, Peter's socks. Peter, we're about to look at your socks. Stop what you're doing and come and look, darling. Right, so here are Peter's socks, which I'm knitting 2 at a time on magic loop, because I was starting to suffer with a little touch of second sock syndrome, which is just tragic because I love knitting socks and I don't know why. I think I had an awful lot of trouble with those blue socks. Maybe that's what did it. They've had nothing done on them, so I'm not even going to show you those. But these I've got as far as I'm putting a Fleagle heel on. Peter, you've got no idea what that is. It's a heel and gusset, you'll see. I'm putting a Fleagle heel on it, and I've just got to the increasing for the gusset. And although I think if you saw last week I was fussing about the fact they didn't match, they're kind of trying to match themselves up. There's 2 stripes here in particular, 3 in fact, that match beautifully. So they're soothing me a little bit by sorting themselves out. So that's really the only, oh no, it's not the only whip I've got to show you. Sorry, Peter, forgot my bullet points. Breezeway Tea by Fogbound Knits that I had to pull down and restart. I'm almost to dividing for the armholes again. I've well gone past putting in the second colour. I don't know if you can see that because of the light. I'm almost up to dividing for the armholes and I'm much happier with it. It's a much better fit, I think, on size larger needles, but a size smaller garment seems to be coming out better. It's knit so that you can have it either way out. So obviously this is the stocking stitch side, but you can also have the garter stitch side. Oh gosh. And I actually think I prefer that. It's quite pretty and it's less, the colours are less blobby on the garter stitch side. The only thing is, and I don't know how it will show when it's made up, the increasing for the arm, or the sleeves I suppose. Can you hear that beeping? I'm ever so sorry. It's the man with the bricks who's causing all this disruption. Yeah, the increasing for the sleeve looks really quite neat and tidy on the outside, but on the inside it doesn't look quite so good. But I'll see how it looks after it's been washed and blocked. It might all settle down and look fine. So that's that. I've done a fair amount of that this week, I suppose. That's pretty much it for whips. As I say, my blue socks have had no attention whatsoever, so I'm not even going to bother and show you those. I've done a little bit of shopping. not a great deal. I bought some stitch markers and progress keepers, and you just saw Poppy the cat, and so I saw these on Etsy and I had to have them, and I think you can probably see why. It's a Poppy cat. It did come with 3 others. I don't know if I can show you them all at once. I shall try. But that was the one I really wanted. If they'd sold that one on its own, I would have got it. Well, that one's on the floor, so you're not going to get to see that one. It's just a black cat, which is like my grand cat, Arabella. And they were from Yarny Finds on Etsy. Not content with having bought those Pussycat stitch markers, I bought another set, and this set is from Olive Tree, or the Olive Tree, Under the Olive Tree. This is why I'm supposed to have notes. I hate proving him right. And they came in a little tin, which is very cute. And there's various different Pussycat stitch markers. Yes, I did say Pussycat, but I wasn't talking to you. She's looking now. But the best one, I'll show you the best one in just a minute. Oh gosh, helps if they're on the screen, doesn't it? This is the best one. Now Jane, at Mouse Knits and Crafts, you need to pay attention now. Look at this, look. It's a little mouse. I love it. I've got my mouse necklace. I don't know if you can see it. It's quite little. That my aunt bought me years ago. And I've got a little mouse brooch that's got an amber tummy, I suppose, that my son bought me for Christmas a few years ago. But now I've got this to go on my knitting. Poppy's watching it with considerably more interest than I would like her to have. It's not for you, no. And I also bought from Crafty Cat Knitty Bits, because I feel a little bit deprived that I can't, well I could, but I don't want to, buy a pin for Crazy Sock Lady's summer sock camp. So I bought myself this one instead, which it will do. It's not a summer sock camp one, but it is a sock one, so I'm happy with that. I've yet to cast on any socks for summer sock camp. I managed to say it today. Because frankly, well, you know me, I can't make up my mind what I want to make. So that's, I'm going to have to wait. Bear with me while I check my bullet points. Hold on. I can now tell you about the giveaway. I'm going to get in such trouble for this. So the Great June Giveaway, as it's now being called, someone called it that, and I thought that was fantastic, so I'm keeping it. The Great June Giveaway runs until midnight on the 29th of June, British summertime. All you need to do to enter is to comment on this video. So each week I will remind you, if you commented on episode 8, which was last week, and if it's not past the 29th of June, then you've already entered. You're perfectly willing to comment again, but if you want to comment and you don't want to enter, please let me know in your comment, otherwise I just add you to the list of people who've entered. Last week I asked you to choose between 2 yarns as to what should go into the giveaway, and overwhelmingly I can reveal you chose Pinata. So this is the one that is officially part of the giveaway. However, if you've entered and if you're lucky enough to win, but you preferred freckles, let me know and we can sort that out. The sun's coming out now. Can you believe it? Yeah, if you would prefer freckles, don't not enter because this is too loud for you. We can sort out the freckles instead. But this is the official prize. Pinata by Ducky Darlings. And if whoever wins does want this one, I'm going to have to buy another one for myself because I think it's gorgeous. So there's your yarn. There's also these 4 cards by a local artist of galaxies. And on the back is the information about said galaxies. There is a little pin with a sheep. And this is courtesy of a lady called Joy, who donated to the Ko-fi account, and this is what I bought with your donation. So thank you, Joy. You bought a little sheep pin to go into the prize. There is a little notions pouch made by myself. Sorry about that noise. Just a little notions pouch. And then this is what I wasn't happy with and have remade. There is a tote bag for it all to go into. No pockets inside, just a little tote. And while I'm showing it to you, can I please, for the sake of health and safety, point out it is for your knitting. Please don't go to the local supermarket or farmer's market and fill it full of potatoes, because it wasn't designed for that and the handles will more than likely fall off. Thank you. End of the public service announcement. So that's your prize. And that runs, as I say, it started last week and it runs until the 29th of June. Midnight British summertime. All you need to do to enter is comment. If you want to comment but you don't want to enter, just say so in your comment. And if you don't want the pinata, if you're lucky enough to win, you can have the freckles. And I've just wobbled the table, for which I apologise. So that's it really for this week. I'm sorry it's a bit of a short one. All that remains to do is to say thank you very much to all our new listen to me, I think I'm the queen, all my new subscribers. A bit bowled over by how many of you there are. Thank you for joining, and hopefully you're not too bored. I will link below Ducky Darlings and Crafty Cat Knitty Bits, who do the little pin badges. She does all kinds of wonderful stuff. She has lots of stitch markers and progress markers, and she does, I think it's called roving, you know, the fluff or the floof for you to spin. She might have some yarn, can't remember, she's got a lot of stuff there. So those two will be linked below. You can find me on Instagram, amandajane.davies.58. Did you hear that? It's very noisy. I am on Ravelry, but there isn't a great deal on Ravelry because I don't know how to work it properly. And on there I'm Mouswitch, all one word. And there's a Facebook podcast. No, there's not. There's a Facebook group which is called Mouses Makes Knitting Podcast. Everyone's welcome to join, and what I'm hoping for it to be is like a little community space where we can chat with each other and you can show me what you've been making as well as me showing you what I've been making, and I can, like with the shawl, put some photographs so you can see things properly. So that's it, I think. Let me check again. That's it. Oh, Poppy's back. Hello. Hello. I didn't even know you were there. Right, so from me and Poppy, where are you, Pops? Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you again next week. Come here, Pops. Come here. She doesn't want to come. She doesn't want to come. Say bye, Poppy. Bye. I'm about to get skinned. That's an angry face. See you next week, guys. Bye.